Hey guys, welcome to Beyond the Surface with Caleb. Today's video I want to talk about caring what we think about people and why we care what they think about us. If you clicked on this video, you might be feeling like you're struggling with that, about caring what people think about you. And maybe you even want to just let it go. Maybe you see the stress and the frustration that it's causing in your life. And you just think, oh, if I just let this go, my life will be a lot easier. But the more you try to resist it, the more it keeps on coming up. And you may notice that. Have you noticed that? The more you're trying to push away not caring what people think about you, the more tension you feel in your body, the more insecurities you feel in your mind, the more doubtful thoughts you have, the more fear you feel. The more you try to push it away, it's almost like the more it wants to return, and it returns stronger. And maybe you're dealing with that paradox. For example, you're going in your daily life and let's say there's a certain environment, whether it's work or school or going to the gym or starting a new job or starting a new routine or a new habit. You might start feeling like, oh, what are they going to think about me? Are they going to think I'm weird? Are they going to think I'm not good enough? Are they going to think I'm incompetent? And you might have all those thoughts going on in your head, and you might feel in your body that sense of fear and tension, and you may even have pains in your body. Might have soreness, might have cramps in your body, muscle cramps. You might feel nauseated. You might feel lightheaded and dizzy. You might feel like you have a hard time focusing, like you're in brain fog. And you start to be aware of these thoughts that are just seem to be on a repetitive loop of, what are they going to think about me? What are they going to think about me? What if they think this? Then maybe I'll do that. If they respond this way, I'll respond that way. And you may have similar emotions going on, similar cycles of emotions. And even though you're aware of all this going on, you just can't feel like you can let it go. You don't feel like you can feel peace from it. So maybe you clicked on this video to try to find an answer. The answer that is simple to say but difficult to do is to allow that to be in your awareness. If you have tension in your body, notice that tension. Put awareness on that tension. Feel the sensation. Does it feel like a pulling sensation? Does it feel cold? Does it feel warm? And if it's a very sharp pain and it brings you a lot of concern, sorry, dry throat. If it brings you a lot of concern, then maybe you should go get it checked out. Because that's also another possibility. It's even possible that you may have an underlying condition. Maybe you have something with your immune system. Maybe you have something with a broken bone that didn't heal right, or maybe there's something going on with your teeth. Maybe you have a cavity that's causing pain and causing referred pain in other parts of your body. Maybe that's causing your whole nervous system to go awry. And then it's producing those thoughts of, oh, I care what everyone thinks about me. Where is this coming from? It could be coming from that. But it's really depends on what's going on with you. And So let's say you ruled all that out and you've gone to the doctor and they've said that everything seems to be fine. They say there's nothing to worry about in terms of like medical emergencies. You're all covered on that. And so where do you go from there? Well, let's say, to give an example, let's say you're going to work and maybe it's your first time at the job. Maybe you're new at the job. Maybe it's your first day or first week or first 2 weeks. And you feel this, maybe a little bit of imposter syndrome of like, I don't belong here. I'm not competent enough to be here. Why did they hire me? I would invite you to sit with that. And while you're watching this video, I'll show an example and an exercise on what you can try. All right, so let's role play here. Let's say I have a new job and I've been there for a week. All right. I have a little bit of understanding of the dynamics, what's expected of me, and I feel a little bit of anxiety, or a lot of anxiety. I start feeling like, oh, what do they think about me? Do they think I'm not fit for the job? Are they going to fire me? Are they going to think that I'm weird? Are they going to think that I speak too softly or speak too loudly? Maybe they'll think that I'm just not, that I don't like them. Maybe I won't fit into their work culture. Maybe they won't like my personality. Maybe they don't like me. I noticed this person gave me this facial expression, and it seems like they don't like me. But I have to talk with them to help my role and my position move more smoothly. How do I deal with that? So you observe your mind running all these different scenarios of what might happen, what has happened, and how those things can be a cause and effect. And you just sit with it. Literally, like, sit down with it. And you just observe it. And start to observe your body. Maybe you have some tension in your chest. Maybe you feel your heartbeat just boom, 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 boom. Maybe you feel also your back might be sore, might be tight. Your face might be tight. Your eyebrows might be doing this. Your mouth might be tense as well. Just notice all that tension and sit with it. Let it be there. And that's the interesting thing with the body, is that the body and the mind don't know a real situation from a perceived situation. So you can be sitting in a comfortable house or apartment or a room, and you could have no danger going on around you, and your mind can start coming up with these scenarios, these what ifs, and your body just goes along for the ride. Your emotions go along for the ride, the sensations, your thoughts, and it almost can feel like you're back there, or that you're playing out the future possibility of what could happen. And that's how strong the body and mind and imagination is. And it's beautiful and it's amazing, but when it takes you over and it causes a lot of dysfunction in your life, that's when it's worth looking into different possibilities on how to become more of a friend to that experience. And on this video, I'm not sharing like these quick tips on how to fix it. Because the thing is you can fix one situation in your life And then it can, and often does, show up in another part of your life. Like, let's say at work you do these exercises and other exercises that you learn from other people. And then at work you start to feel like, okay, I got this. Everything's okay. I feel competent. I feel confident enough to be able to feel comfortable in this domain of my life. And you feel good. And then you start to, that kind of trickles over to other domains in your life. It tends to, like your finances, your relationships, whether intimate, platonic, relational. It starts to carry over into these other aspects. And you can start to feel like, oh, I got this. Things are going well now. I dealt with that issue or that challenge, and now, I feel better. I feel like I got a hold on life. And that can last for a couple minutes, a couple days, a couple weeks, a couple years. But eventually, that same stuff that came up in, let's say, the working situation, you'll start to notice it in another domain of your life, of maybe finances. And you start to have those insecurities and those what ifs and that similar thought pattern and emotional reaction and pain and tension and stress in your body. It starts to play out again. And it can feel even more difficult the second time around, because you feel like, well, I've gone through this before, but I was able to get through it, but now it's coming back. Is this just what my life's going to be about? It's going to just keep on happening like this? And the thing is, it is. It will keep happening, and you just keep on working on it. You keep on accepting the feelings and the thoughts and the emotions, and you have a compassion for it. And through that experience, while you deal with these different situations that cause that insecurity and caring what people think and doubt to surface, the more you go through that process of accepting it and allowing it to be there and productively taking the actions that you need to, it gets easier and you start to feel more competent. Like it'll keep on coming up, but it won't take you over as quickly. The duration will be shorter. And you'll start to get to a point where you notice it and you catch yourself. You're like, oh, okay, so this thought pattern is similar to when I had that new job a couple years ago. And it's also similar to when my finances were bad a couple years after that. And now it's happening again in this new situation with maybe this new relationship or this dating experience. And just that awareness of seeing that pattern happen more and more, you start to just kind of chuckle a little bit, like laugh a little bit, because you're not taking it as seriously. And because you're not taking it as seriously, but still using it as a data point or a sequence of information, whether it's your thinking information or your sensation in your body information, you're using that as a data point to better understand yourself. And at the same time, because we're all humans, you're better understanding other people too, because everyone goes through these cycles. And it sounds simple, me just saying that, but it takes a lot of emotional and mental effort. But what else are you going to do? It's going to be there regardless. So why not put awareness towards it? And if you don't like the word awareness because it might sound too woo-woo or out there, you could use focus or attention. You put your attention on it or your focus on it. And if you don't like data point because it sounds too scientific, as if like you're scientifically describing an emotional, personal experience, if it sounds too scientific to say that information on your body and your thoughts are data points, you can change the word data points to just information, or your awareness, or your body-mind. Because ultimately, the word that you choose, on one hand, it doesn't matter. But on the other hand, words have hidden meanings in them, and they mean different things to different people in different situations and in different contexts. So a word used as a pointer can be more strong for one person, and it can be an allergy for another person. And it's really about finding out what works for you. Because at the end of the day, regardless of the word or regardless of the process, you have to find out what works best for you in your situation. And that's really ties into why we care what people think about us. You know, because in a sense, we've been a human species for hundreds of thousands of years. And we've had this conditioning in our life and in previous generations that have also influenced our society structures and our government structures, and even how we socialize and the social rules and norms of different countries. Like, that's been heavily influenced by those hundreds of thousands of years of previous civilizations. And there's been a lot of figuring out what works and what doesn't. And it's just going to be a continuous process of that. So I say that to say, don't be too hard on yourself, because the conditioning that you have is not only influenced by your family of origin, your mom, your dad, your grandmother, your aunt. It's not only influenced by that, it's also influenced by their generation. And their generation is influenced from the generation before them, and generation after generation, and ancestor after ancestor. And if you believe in past lives, then you can apply that to this too. And if you don't believe in that, that's okay too. Because it really is about you can't be too hard on yourself about this stuff. I mean, I can say that, and there's times in my life where I forget that as well. But I keep in mind that you're dealing with hundreds of thousands of years of previous conditioning, emotionally, psychologically, and socially, and societally. And so, whether you're 10 years old watching this video, or 100 years old watching this video, or anything in between, the conditioning that you have isn't just from your time and your generation on this earth. It's from your previous generations. And yes, there's systems that we have now in 2026, from government to planetary and financial and social. There's these systems that are in place that have been influenced from decades and thousands of years, and some of them even hundreds of thousands of years, especially with the social. So you have a lot on your plate. We have a lot on our plate. And it's not one of those things where it's going to be like a big responsibility for you, because that will just add more stress on your life. It's really just, how do you feel right now? What can you handle right now? What do you need to take care of? Do you have pain in your body? Maybe you need to work out. I got a little bit of soreness. I'll have to work out after this video. What are the little things you can do? And don't worry so much about what I said about the previous generation, the generation before that, and how that all influenced how you are right now. Because even though that's true, trying to have all that responsibility and take all that in and trying to figure it all out, dissect it with your mind and all this complexity, on one hand you can do that, you can find a lot of value from that. But also too, you have to ask yourself how much of that deep dive, how much of that information is going to be valuable for the actions that you might need to take right now. And that would be productive to take right now. So yeah, it's not just these little simple fixes of caring what people think about you. It's much more nuanced. And ultimately, it's not good or bad. There's extremes of not caring what anyone thinks about you and being rude and disrespectful. And there's another extreme about caring so much about what people think about you that is debilitating. And it's really about finding that balance somewhere in the middle. Because different situations and different contexts and different life circumstances will influence where you are in that spectrum of those two extremes, where you sit in them, and which one is more productive and more balanced. And with awareness or focus or attention, you'll be able to understand that better. But that's it for this video, and thank you for listening. And if you have any different perspective or anything you want to share, please leave it in the comments below. And you can hit that like button and subscribe button if you feel inclined to do so. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.